Trump was in Scotland at his golf course, I think, last week, and he went rolling off in one of his golf buggies with Rupert Murdoch. Now, you've mentioned how the Mail Online and a couple other newspapers really conspired against you in the early 80s. What role does that media play right now? You know, we spoke a lot about, you know, the phone tapping issue that happened, and how there wasn't really a lot resolved from that in the long run. What's your view now on media, and then also as that really comes into search engine, internet, that kind of piece?
Well, it's interesting because back in the 1980s, when I was leader of the GLC, we just had landlines in those days. I'd make a phone call, put the phone down, pick it up to make another one, and I'd hear the previous conversation being played back. So my phone's been bugged, you know, certainly for at least 35 years. And there was one interesting thing. I mean, during the last mayoral election campaign, there was never a day in that election campaign when there's a photographer on the doorstep. Not at all. You went to some thing that had been set up elsewhere. The entire election campaign, no one on the doorstep. But then the day the Sun had a picture of me coming out in my gardening clothes, putting a load of rubbish in the bin. Now, there wasn't a photographer I could see there to take that picture. They were somewhere hidden in a van or whatever. And that was the only day in that election campaign where my wife and my kids were away and I was alone at home. And I did feel a bit paranoid, thinking, are they still bugging my phone or looking at me? Do they know that the wife was going to be away? Did they assume I'd be having some prostitute pop in to see me or something like that? What on earth? I mean, I'd never had a situation where there's been a cameraman hidden in a van before. They'd just come right in your face. So I still suspect, you know, my phone's being bugged, or, you know, my emails are being tapped into. But then I never do anything in private that I don't also do in public. Is
Rupert Murdoch pulling some strings behind the scenes here and pulling politicians one way or the other?
It's terrible. I mean, even more sinister, but in the I can't remember if it was 2008 or 2012 presidential election, Rupert Murdoch got the head of Fox News to fly to Afghanistan to say to the commander there, I can't remember his name now, that Rupert Murdoch wants you to run for the Republican nomination for president. He will pay for your entire campaign. And the commander turned this down because he got some personal problems and so on that did eventually all come out in the open air. But you just think, here's Rupert Murdoch prepared to spend hundreds of millions of pounds to have his person in the White House. And effectively, he's done that with British elections, you know, that Blair went off and sucked up to him and didn't introduce any regulations to control what he was doing.
Because he had to, right?
And we sort of, before Murdoch took over the Times, it was an absolute paper of record. Every politician, you had to read it, it was really good. And immediately it just became, you know, a vehicle for what he believes in and he thinks. I always say, you know, I think Rupert Murdoch's the most damaging immigrant that's ever come to this country.
And what does he gain by screwing around with politics? Is it just to make himself richer, or is it a power issue?
I think he wants to have power. I mean, he can't spend any more money than he's already got. I think he likes to have real influence. He had it with Thatcher, he had it with Blair. He wasn't going to get it with Ed Miliband. He certainly won't get it with Jeremy Corbyn. I actually think, you know, I'm not certain any foreign person or company should own British newspapers or radio or TV. I don't think anyone should actually own them. They should all be workers' cooperatives, so they didn't have to have all these lies.
That being said, is everything moving to the web now, where it's microblogging and owned and reported on by everyone?
But you do get an awful lot of lies on the web as well.
Yeah.
There's also always Guido Fawkes there, putting an unpleasant spin on everything I say.
Continue watching this fascinating conversation for free by clicking on the link below to visit our website, learn from the best minds in the world, and connect with a community of passionate people building the best versions of themselves. Just click on the link below, and I'll see you on the inside.